Parashas Kisisa Tafshin Pei. We're going to discuss about a certain number that comes quite often in the Torah. And more than this, in a lot of episodes that happened, we see that number 40 coming again and again and again. In order to understand the Inyan, I have to go to the basics. There are 4 facets to this number. And in order to understand the last one, we have to understand the previous one. So today I'm going to explain one facet of, I'm still going to give you the side at the end so you understand the end of it. Though I'm just going to develop one side of, try maybe to give you a little bit of everything. It's going to be tough, but I can give you maybe a little bit an overlook of the rest to tell you how important is that number and how to use it. It's a number that anything you do, it's successful. No matter how you take this number 40, no matter who you are, no matter under which star you were born, no matter under which day you were born, under which mazel, it doesn't matter. The number 40 will change everything. Let's go to the psukim. In this parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu, after the chet of the Egel, he's got to go and tell them. Torah says, "Vayhi sham im Hashem." He was there with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't know what he means. He was there with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I know we like to say stories that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was sitting next to him and telling him to write and so forth. As far as I'm concerned, when I read Parashas Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu vayal el ha'eloikim. Not to Hashem, to Eloikim. He went to the Malchus. He went to the Shechina. Going to HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to mean something else, and we have to see what it means, Vayhi Sham im Hashem. This is in the third facet of the name of Arbaim. What it means, Vayhi Sham im Hashem. He was there with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Can he be there with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. You can't tell me he was there with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But let's forget about this now. Arbaim Yom ve'Arbaim Laila. 40 nights, 40 days and 40 nights. Was it difficult to tell me 40 days? Because we know that the days, including the night, we don't expect Moshe Rabbeinu to go just for the day up in Shamayim and come back at night, right? So why is the pasuk making such arichus lashon, such adding so many words, Arbaim Yom ve'Arbaim Laila? And if you think that's the only time he's going to say this, just in Parashas Eikev, he's going to repeat it 5 times. I didn't count how many times in the Torah it says that, but just to tell you the importance of the message. It doesn't come to tell me exactly how long he was there. It comes to tell me a message. This is a coded message. Arbaim Yom ve'Arbaim Laila. Lechem lo yochal, mayim lo yishasa, I understand. Vayichtov ala Luchos. And then, when he comes on from the Har, Vayhi beredes Moshe me Har Sinai, and it was when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Har Sinai, Ushne Luchos ha'edus beyad Moshe, and both Luchos were in the hand of Moshe. Beritoi minahar. In case you didn't understand the first time that he was coming down the Har, we repeat it a second time. Beritoi minahar. Because this time he doesn't say Har Sinai. It says Min Har, the mountain. Which mountain? We'll see. Moshe lo yada, and Moshe didn't know ki koran oir panav v'daberoi itoy, that his skin started shining when HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke with him. In other words, not much in this psukim seemed to make sense, meaning they provide us any information about Moshe in Shamayim, the reason why his skin, the Midrash said, he saw in the kulmus there was a nice drop of ink and he put it on his face. And from there it shined. I don't understand those things. I don't understand why. When you put the ink on your head, it's going to shine. When you write in the Luchos, it doesn't shine. What was that? Is the inks that shine? Is the face that shine? What's the coded message here? I just want to give you a little bit of an overlook of these 40 days. Moshe Rabbeinu went up in Shamayim on the 7th of Sivan. He comes back 40 days later. It's Yud Zayin Tammuz. Yud Zayin Tammuz, he has the first Luchos. He sees the eagle. He breaks the Luchos. He goes back the next day. Why? Because he had those second days, he had to be mechaper on the Bnei Yisrael. So he went a second series of 40 days and 40 nights. Because it says in the Pasuk, es Arbaim hayom ve'es Arbaim halayla, the days and the nights, again repeated. Okay, goes for a second series. He comes down Rosh Chodesh Elul. The same days he goes back up. He comes down on Yom Kippur with the second Luchos. Basically, from 7th of Nisan to Yom Kippur, it's 120 days. Moshe Rabbeinu. So if the Torah wanted to teach us how long Moshe Rabbeinu remained without eating and drinking, should have said 120 days. Because as soon as he came down, he went to work for the Bnei Yisrael. He doesn't say he went to his tent and he had a big meal or he had to drink, nothing. By the eagle, he took care of the one who made the eagle. As soon as he was finished with them and he made them drink the water from the river where they crushed the eagle, he went back up. It was 120 days. That's a proof that the message Arba'im Yom ve'Arba'im Laila lechem la'achal u'mayim lo yishasa doesn't mean what it seems to mean. A child is conceived in 40 days. Not 41, not 39, 40 days. When the Meraglim went into Eretz Yisrael, the cycle was, of spying was 40 days. When Eliyahu Hanavi walks in the desert, he walks for 40 days, night and days. Which desert do you cross 40 days? I don't know. Maybe the Sahara you can cross already in 40 days. So just want to bring up that 40 is not a number here. It's a midah. It's a It's an adjective. It's something that we are doing. It's something that you can achieve. But through 40. We look at it as a number. It's not a number. Obviously, it's not a number. We going into the mikveh, it has to be 40 seah. Again, 40. Why? If the water purifies, why? What difference does it make? Because, oh, mayim, yes, mayim, I understand. Mayim has a special koyach. Mayim is 90. 90 is 9 times 10. So 9 yudin. Now you take all the shemus of the chokhmah, right? The ralab. Ab, sag, ma, ben. Let's do it together. No, it's here. Let's do it together here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, mine from Chokhmah. That's why it's so holy, because it comes from the Ralab, the Absag Maben. So in that case, why do I need 40? Mime should be mime. Mime should be metaher. If the koyach of Tyra is in the mime, then it shouldn't be depending on the number 40 seah. What is it 40 seah? Elamai, 40 is something. Yoina goes to Nineveh. He is ordered to go to Nineveh after. I'm not here to say back the story of Yoina, okay? He goes to Nineveh. Hashem told him, warn them that if they don't change their ways, I will destroy the city. Yoina goes and say, if you don't change your ways, within 40 days, Hashem will destroy the city. Hold it. Rambam Paskins. What's Navi HaSheker? What is a fake Navi? It's not only someone who makes up a Nevius, it's someone who braids or adds on to a Nevius that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't tell him. And he's Chayev Misa. But we don't see anywhere that Yoina was Chayev Misa. But Hashem, obviously, you read in the Pasuk in Yoina, Hashem never told him to warn them that in 40 days, the city will be destroyed. So how did Yoina know? Number one, how is it not Nevi'us HaSheker? You see that 40 is not what it seems. If 40 would be a number, then it would be a Nevi'us Sheker. But it's not. So obviously there's something behind. I'm going to take the Zohar Chadash to start with because he addresses one very critical point and one very critical question that we have asked. And that's going to be a foundation. So no need to fluff. We need to have a guideline in order to be able to advance. The Zohar Chadash says, do you know why Moshe Rabbeinu was in Shamayim for 40 days? Because he had to learn Torah Shebe'al Peh. Okay. I mean, Torah Shebe'al Peh, he doesn't say Torah Shebichtav. He says Torah Shebe'al Peh. I'm not sure when he learned Torah Shebichtav then. Let's keep on the Zohar Chadash. Zohar Chadash says, what is 40? 40 is the midah of the bina. Why? Because in the Mishnah it says, Arba'im labina. Kikiavas. Okay, great. Arbaim labina. As we learn, chamishim is bina, right? But the Mishnah says Arbaim labina. So he wants to learn that Arbaim is the bina. I'll take anything at this point if you can explain me what Arbaim means. So I'm going to stay with my question. I don't understand, but I'm going to stay with my question. The Zohar explains the pasuk Vayhisham im Hashem. He was there with Hashem. Arbaim yom ve'arbaim laila. Why is the pasuk expanding on Arbaim yom ve'arbaim laila? You could have said Arbaim yom. We would have known exactly what we asked. That's the question that the Zohar will tackle. It says obviously there's a side here because the midah of yom is the male, is Kucha Berichu, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The midah of Laila is the Malchus. The color of the Malchus is black. When is the Malchus raining? At night. What is the color of the day? Blue, it's bluish. You see the sky is bluish. Tiferes. Tiferes, Malchus. Kucha Berichu, Ushchinte. Now we started seeing that maybe we're going to make a yichud type of thing between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Ishchina. Okay. And says the Zohar, and it took 40 days for the Bina, now the Arbaim is the Bina, and it took 40 days for the Bina to be pregnant, not pregnant, I mean to conceive Kucha Berichu and Shchinte when Moshe was in Shammai. Now we're not in the Torah anymore, right? He started telling me about the Torah. Torah shebichtav, or Torah shebe'alpeh. So Laila is the Malchus, it's Torah shebe'alpeh. Arbaim Yom is Torah shebichtav. So he was there 40 nights because of Torah shebe'alpeh, to learn Torah shebe'alpeh. But the Zohar ends up telling me something completely out of subject, that the Bina was able then to conceive Kucha Berichu and the Shechina because it takes 40 days to conceive a child. We know it's 40 days. On top of this, Moshe Rabbeinu was able to change himself. I'm going to go over the Zohar, crystallize it, because here we have a huge foundation. He was able to change his nefesh, ruach, neshama, and get one from the Bina. Why? Because he had to serve the Torah, which is the Melech, Arbaim Yom, the midah of Yom, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He had to serve him, so he had to be appropriate in order to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you cannot have a lo nefesh, ruach, neshama, lo naran, in order to be serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because he's going to be an intermediary between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Bnei Yisrael in order to teach them the Torah. So Moshe Rabbeinu had to be there also 40 days. So this is the third reason the Zohar gives us, it just shoots at us. Moshe Rabbeinu had to be 40 days there because in order to conceive his new nefesh, ruach, neshama. Let's review in plain language the three reasons. First reason, the Zohar says in our language, and we're going to try to explain it. He had to learn Torah shebe'alpeh. Why is learning Torah shebe'alpeh so essential? And because of this, he had to remain there 40 days. In other words, The reason he was there 40 days because he needed to be there 40 nights. So the 40 days were not essential. What was essential was the 40 nights. Why the 40 nights? Because Torah shebe'al peh is the pirush of Torah shebichtav. You cannot come up with drushim. Moshe kibel Torah misinai. Moshe received the Torah from Sinai, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He explained it to him. Umesara liHoshua. And he transferred it to Yehoshua. Whatever he learned, he transferred it. Whatever taught Yeshua is what he learned. I just have on the side of my head that the Megala Amukas explains Mesara are the 4 places where halachas were dictated to Moshe Rabbeinu. In Mara, like Shabbos, Kibbutz Davar, before the few halachas before Har Sinai, Mesara. Samech is Sinai. Mesara. Resh is Refidim. And Hey is the Har. Samech is Midbar Sin. Sorry, it was before Har Sinai. It was Midbar Sin. So again, it was Mara, Midbar Sin, Mesara. Resh is Refidim. And Hey is the Har. Finally, they received all the halachas of the Torah. That's one. So I needed, it's Torah shebichtav, we cannot understand it. It's so hidden. The Pshatim, the Zohar says, the Nachas Ruach HaKadosh Baruch Hu has when we explain the Torah shebichtav, but through the Torah shebe'al peh, because as soon as I'm explaining right now, even though I'm talking about the Zohar ala Torah and in Torah shebichtav, the fact that I'm taking it out through my mouth and you can hear it is becoming Torah shebe'al peh. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu did the Yichud, Torah shebichtav, Torah shebe'al peh. We had to get there. Arba'im Yom, Arba'im Laila. We're far away from the number 40 right now, but we're coming to it. The second point the Zohar made is Kutsha Berichu and Shchinte. Whenever you learn Torah, so Moshe Rabbeinu came to teach us that whenever we learn Torah and we learn through the mouth, so we do that Yechud Torah shebichtav, Torah shebe'al peh, is Arba'im Yom. Yom is Kutsha Berichu. Laila is the Malchus. So we're making a Yechud between HaKadosh Baruch Hu exactly as when we say Amen, but this one is a lot more powerful. Just to give you an example, so you understand. The Pele Yoel says regarding an other that says Kaddish, like me, that says that davens in front of the Amud, people would fight for this. It says this is the conduct of Amei Haratzim. They think, yes, the Zohar says, saying Kaddish for a Neshama removes 1.5 hour of Gehinna. And the Kaddish is the lowest of all the levels. At the bottom is the Kaddish. Above is davening in front of the Amen. Mishnayos is already a lot more than the Zohar says, if a person left a son that learns Torah, even if the father, let's say in a clean language, was not a tzaddik, he's not saying Gehinnom because of the Torah of the son. Says the Pele Yoetz that it's dozens of times more than the Kaddish and davening in front of the Amud, learning Torah le'ilui nishmas. And the top of the top is to be mechadesh chidushim, and especially on Shabbos. This is what the Pele Yoetz says in Kibud Avan. That shows you that we are on another planet here. Why? Because Torah is Olam Habina. You can be in the lower spheres, but once you elevate yourself in Olam Habina, it's the Olam when the Olam Haba HaElyon is. In other words, I'm going to just draw you a picture, illustrate you what the words of the Pele Yoetz are. You have the Olam Haba Tachton in the Malchus. This is the Ze'ashal Hashem, to be in the Shechina already, and not go to Gehinnom. It's a tremendous reward. And every Shabbos, the Neshamas go up to Olam Haba Elyon. Every Rosh Chodesh, every Yantev. But comes Motzei Shabbos, got to go back down. At that point, the Neshama has a huge Akmas Nefesh. I have to go back down to the low. Once you see the Olam Haba Elyon, when you go to your Olam Haba, it doesn't feel like Olam Haba anymore. You're just sick. When is the next Shabbos coming already? Or you can do nothing. When is my son going to learn? When is he going to be Mechadesh so I can go back up? Because his Torah is to go directly to the Bina. Now you understand, Arbaim, Bina. We're going to connect all the dots. And automatically it's considered as if the Neshama itself, because it's the father, if the Neshama itself learned, and he joins in Olam Haba HaElyon. The Nachas Ruach made to this Neshama is more than all the gifts and all the services. That's why the Pele Yoetz says, and he took it from the Zohar, that the true Kibud Avayim starts when they leave this world. That's when is the Ikra Mitzvah that HaKadosh brings in Tamei HaMitzvahs. That's where it starts. So that's the second explanation of the Zohar, because Arbaim Yom and Arbaim Laila, Torah Shebichtav, Torah Shebe'al Peh, when you take it out, you see the oil that comes out of here to the point you can elevate any neshama, save it from Gehinnom and elevate it from to the Gan Eden Elyon. Okay? When Moshe Rabbeinu did that, what did he do? He basically unified all the words. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Echad, V'Shmoi Echad. The Torah is one. Umik Yamcha Yisrael Goyechad Ba'aretz. That's why we say, the Zohar says, Kucha Berichu Oraisa Ve'Yisrael Chad. The three of them are unique, the only one. So we have already a yichud under, and we make a yichud on top also. Kucha Berichu Oraisa Yisrael Chad. Umik Yamcha Yisrael Goyechad. We learned last week in the tefillin of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're not going there. We just want to understand why Arbaim Yom and Arbaim Laila is so important. And again, from there we learn why is the learning at night so important, because the learning of night creates the learning of day. I'm going to explain this through a simple Rambam in a little bit. I just want to expose the 40 as much as I can. The third one is the 40 that Moshe Rabbeinu used in order to deserve a different Naran. A Naran from the Bina, from the highest level in this world that someone can receive, is the Bina. And this is considered the 40 like the conceiving of a child. So these are the three explanations. Now we have to connect them. We have to understand. It's going to take, I'm going to take you for a little ride. Usually I don't go on that sheer, that thing, but there's no other way. Okay. So I'm sorry. At the same time, I'm going to pass on a huge chiddush here. You're going to understand a little bit better the concept of the year. So we have here Arba'im Yom. We know it's Kutsha Berichu. We know it's 379. We know it's Kisei Rachamim. In other words, how do you turn? Someone is in the din, someone Chas v'Shalom is in the din. He has to turn to be hoifech midas adin, turn around midas adin to midas rachmim. He wants HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be Yoshev on Kisei Rachmim. He needs Arbaim Yom. Why do we say Yom Kippur in the Tefillah? Because it's the 40th day after Rosh Chodesh Elul. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will turn from Kisei Din to Kisei Rachmim. Now let's go. Okay, we're not satisfied with that house. There are 13 months on a leap year. There are 13 months. There are 13 ways to write the Yud Ke Vav Ke in full. There are 13 brachas. You have the first 3 in Shemoneh Esrei, the last 3, and altogether they are 19. Not 18, okay? 19, because I added 1. There's 19. So if I remove the first 3 and the last 3, you're remaining with 13 in the middle. And this is the Kavanah. It's keneged all the 13 months of the year. And pay attention, okay? The first one you know, so I'm going to go by the numbers so you understand the one you know, the one you don't know. You know Ab, you don't know Saz, you know Sag, you don't know Sab, you don't know Chen, you don't know Zan, you don't know Dan, you know Gan, you know Ben, you don't know Mat, you don't know Mach, you know Ma, and you don't know Mad. Okay, these are though, but if you take them all together, equals 724. Bechol eis yihyu begadecha levanim. Explain the command of HaKadosh on this pasuk. This is the side of bringing up all the nitzotzos. So I have to understand. Because if a person can show up in Olam Haba with white cloth, without stain, he's a star. He achieved his goal in his life. But we all know, there's no tzaddik, pure tzaddik. So there's no one that can have a purely clean, a completely clean beged to go to Olam Haba. But the pasuk says, Bechol eis, not only when you go to Olam Haba, every moment, Yihiyu begadecha levanim. They should be white, pure, clean. So when we do this, the koyach of this yichudim is to bring all the nitzotzos and whatever chet we have done, and we lost some kedusha, erases back the kedusha to its place. So basically, there is a correction to every not being punished. There is a correction. There is a way to correct any possible chet. If I'm taking the month of the year, knowing that we're starting in Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul, Tishrei. Interesting. In Tishrei, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the yichud of Tishrei. If you take in the brachas, it's the bracha of Teka b'shofar gadol lecheruseinu. We are, so the seventh, it has 6 on one side and 6 on the other side, right? If I'm taking here, these 6, I can put them here. What have I achieved? What am I saying with this? That, oh, it's funny, oh, it's exactly equal to 379. The Absaz, Sag, yeah, the first 6 months of the year. In other words, the years is composed, but naturally, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu sits on Kisei Rachmim from Nisan all the way to Tishrei. From Tishrei on, HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges the world, and then we have all these Yehudim that if you add them on, equals to 291 equals to Eretz, because they're all lowly, Gashmi, because what we're going to be judged on is on the rest of the year what we're going to have, which is Parnasa, Bane, Chaye, Mezoine, everything which related to Eretz. That's in the good when everything is good, meaning that when we do the Yechudim, we correct. So we're going to have Kisei Rachmim and we have Eretz. But if Chaz v'Sham, and this is the side of Arba'im Yom, when you do things according to this Gula, the year is fine. Even though you judged, but you're getting your stuff, you're getting your Eretz. So what are we supposed to do in order to achieve that Gula of Arba'im Yom? First, I want to give you Arba'im Laila because the Zohar said, for that reason, Moshe Rabbeinu remained 40 days. So if we calculate Arba'im Laila, we have a number 398. We have name of a Malach here, it's Chanoich Matatron, which is the same, right? Which is the one that guards the Shechina at night, which is the one that came that was in Gilgul remember in Yosef Atzadik, because Chanoch didn't have bris milah, so he had to have bris milah at 8 days. So he came back in Yosef. That's why he's called Nar. You remember all this, and that's why Yosef knew the 70 languages, because Malach Matat is ruling over the 70 nations, so he knows all the language. That's how it says in the pasuk Sefas lo yadati eshma. In Tehillim, David HaMelech says, a language Yosef said, Edus bihoisef samoy al Eretz Mitzrayim sfas lo yadati eshma. A language that I didn't know I could hear. I couldn't understand all of a sudden because of Chanoich. And this is Chanoich that is Shomer, because it's also at night, the Chitzonim are free and they wander in the world, and they can Chaz v'Shalom attack the Shechina. So who saves the Shechina is this Malach. Now we're starting seeing something different before our eyes. Arba'im can turn Midas Adin to Midas Rachmim. We can have a huge Malach, the Malach that Shomer on the Shechina, to come down and help us. Fine. What do we do? How we do it? The Gemara in Tainis, Ches Amud Aleph. Resh Lakish says if someone has difficulties understanding the teaching of his master, he has to repeat 40 times. And Kol Sheken, if he understands, and every time before appearing before Rabbi Yochanan in the Shiur, Resh Lakish would revise his Shiur 40 times. By the way, Resh Lakish had a habit never to talk when Rabbi Yochanan was talking, never asking him a question. He would let him finish the Shiur, then he would come up and ask a question. Because unless you're focusing on what your master says, his Rebbe says, he cannot ask a question. You have fully, to fully understand what he's trying to do, was trying to say, understand it first, and then ask a question. We see that Resh Lakish was using a sgula here, the sgula of 40. Why didn't he revise 100 times, 101? The good number is 54. Maybe, no, 40. To be ready for his Rebbe, Rabbi Yochanan. The Gemara in Moed Katan is going to give us a different outlook on this. It does not only work for learning, it works also for repairing. In other words, on a chet, it can be corrected with the number 40. The Gemara brings a story that Reb Huna, when his Ritzua of Tefillin turned, he fasted 40 days. So at this level, the Ritzua, never things like this would happen to the Amoraim. And since it happened, he knew there was something wrong. He fasted for 40 days. Not 41 and not 39. So he corrected the problem. He was sure he corrected the problem with 40 fast. Second story the Gemara brings down. In Bava Metzia, the Rabbi Yosef fasted 40 days because he wanted the Torah to keep on through his descendants. When he finished fasting the 40 days, he heard a bas koil saying, Loi yamushu mipicha. The words of Torah will not leave your mouth. He was not happy. He fasted another 40 days. At the end of the completion of the second cycle, he heard a bas koil saying, Lo yamushu mipicha umipi zarach. He was not happy because he only got the assurance that Torah will stay by him and his children, but not his descendants. He went for a third cycle of 40 days. On the completion of that cycle, he heard a bas koil saying, Lo yamushu mipicha umipi zaracha umipi zera zaracha. He was happy at that point. He needed to fast basically 3 times 40, which is 120. This 120 is also extremely important. Besides being 3 times 40, 120 is also a common number. And maybe I'll show you toward the end, where it's coming from and how related it is to 40. So he did 40, even though maybe they didn't deserve his children because he needed to fast in order to be assured. If they really deserved on the first cycle, should have said, Lo yamushu mipicha mipi zaracha mipi zera zaracha. But he didn't. Now we're going to go back to the psukim and understand what Moshe is telling But I'm not going to take the psukim in Parshas Kisisa. I'm going to take the same psukim in Parshas Devarim. Because Moshe is going to expand a little bit more and tell us a little bit more of why was he so frustrated with the Bnei Yisrael. Yes, I understand there was the ego. For sure, the ego was there. But we all know the ego was done by the Erev Rav, not the Bnei Yisrael. So why are you frustrated? The reason is, why is it considered, even I can ask a more blatant question, why is it considered that the Bnei Yisrael did the ego? You're going to have all kind of mishmash here, answers, because of Torah is clear. Torah doesn't need to be bent into little bent in order to go around. It's highways, straight highways, logical highways, mathematical highways. There's no need to bend over a thing. If you bend too much, means you don't get it. You're far away from this. Because that day, it was Kaf Hei Iyar. What is the date? This date is important. Because it's 40 days after coming out of Mitzrayim. You see, it says in Parashas Beshalach that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to take them the short way because of the Pelishtim, right? I'm not going back there, but I just want to point you something, that it was impossible for them to go through the short way. They had to receive the Torah. And the Torah, it was 50 days after, in order to be Mesaken the 50 meters, it was Firas HaOmer. It was 49 days of the Omer, plus the day of receiving the Torah, 50 days. We needed those 50 days. You're right. But after receiving the Torah, they were supposed to enter Eretz Yisrael and never lose it again. Never lose. Never have a Chorban. Never have a Chorban Besamikdash. Never have a Galus anymore. Why? Oh, they didn't finish Mitzrayim, and it's the Yud of the Yud Kevavke, and they didn't finish the full all the full letters. They only did the little tag of the Yud. You're right. But they did such a correction on those 50 days that they arrived to the level of Adam HaRishon before the Chet, to the point that Misa left the world. If there's no more Misa, there's no more this Malach HaMaves down there, the lady, There's no minister, there's no Sar in Shamayim, angel of nation in Shamayim that could against them. They were much stronger than any of them. Moshe Rabbeinu is going to point out what we have lost. How the Egel, what led us to the Chet of the Egel. Abnei Yisrael didn't do it. It doesn't matter. They lost the 40. On the way to the 50, they have worked great on the 50, but they lost the 40. It seems contradiction, right? It seems because if you lose the 40, how can you reach 50? I'm going to show you. Moshe Rabbeinu tell them, Ubesav'era, Uvemasa, Uvekivrois hataiva, Maktsifim, Heyisem, es Hashem. In these three places, you angered HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he tells them, Lo yisenasu es Hashem Eloikechem. Don't try HaKadosh Baruch Hu ka'asher nisisem b'masa, like you tried in Masa. Yes, he should have said b'masa. Why says b'masa? It's a different shiur, but they had arrived at the beginning of the pasuk here. Vaisu miyolush vayachanu birfidim, and then start. So all these places basically is not a different place than Refidim. Vayikra Shem Amakim Masa Umeriva. The name of that place was called Masa and Meriva. Why? Because this is where they said, Al Riv Bnei Israel, because they fought with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ve'al Naseisam Es Hashem, and they tried HaKadosh Baruch Hu Leimor, saying, Hayesh Hashem B'kirbeinu Im Ayin. Is there HaKadosh Baruch Hu among us? I explain it differently. The apostle could give a shiur on this. I don't know, maybe by you, maybe it's a different shiur. Hayesh, because we know what ayin means. Hayesh Hashem B'kirbeinu Im Ayin. Here we're going to remain with the pshat pashut. Is they started doubting if HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's a beautiful Rashi that answers that. If we have time, I'm going to go into it a little bit. You will understand what missing the 40, what the Egel comes and how Amalek comes and how everything is related. And now you're going to understand that the 40 is a buildup, is the completion of the world. There's nothing in that world, in this world, that can surpass 40. So let's start. Let's back off. So they had arrived. I know I read you this psukim. I just wanted to give you an overlook of the fight. They're going to try HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They are in disbelief. When it's written, Refidim by us, it's written like this. Vayachanu ishmois. Vayachanu birfidim with the yud and the yud. Ve'en mayim lishtois ha'am. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tried them. They had no more water. Vayachnu birfidim. Look in Bamidbar how it's written. It's missing the yud here. By us also, the second time it's missing the yud. But I just want to bring Ve'lo yihaya sham mayim la'eda lishtois. They didn't have water. With the same place, right? The computer, made a mistake up there. What's happening? Here we write it with a yud. Here we write it without a yud. And this is going to be the same place that we mentioned before, that they started complaining about not only the water. Once they started complaining about the water, you see what leads a person? You have a reason. You have a valid reason to complain. How do children going to live? How is the flock going to live? The Midrash points this out, that because they mentioned the flock, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had Rachmanus on them, showing that Bnei Israel had real Rachmim. They think about even animals. Look at the southern stars. He gives you a valid reason to complain. Very logical. Moshe Rabbeinu, we panic. What are we going to do? We have no more water. Then you're going to complain about the meat. Then you're going to complain about the food that you just smelled in Mitzrayim, which you never had. Now your imagination is going to make it as if you had it. Look how people dig their holes. Once you start using your mouth for the negative, only God can have mercy on you and stop you. Because otherwise, you're going to dig your own hole with your mouth. And this is what happened. At the beginning, it was only called Refidim. And Refidim with two yuds. What's the gematria of Rephidim with 2 yods? It's let me copy this. 280, 320, 334. Or 344. Control V.
344.
344. Thank you, Menachem. 344. You always there want to help. 344 equals 3 times Elohim. You know, right away the Satan is dancing here. You have 3 times Elohim here. Exactly 3 times. 3 times 86 equals 344. You know that there's going to be a test, as I explained, and Mayim Lishtois, a valid test. It seems, yeah, logical. I'm in right. I mean, he did something to me. I'm going to yell. I'm going to think. I'm going to complain. I'm going to talk about him. Yeah, keep on doing this. You don't understand that it's a slope that you can't stop yourself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have Rachmanus. If you don't go Kisei Rachmim, you're going to finish in the din. Now, the Torah write on purpose. The second time, I'm just going to write it like this and remove it. Going to go faster. So equal 334, write this one. 334 will give us the reason of the failure of the Bnei Yisrael in that Nisayan. If I write Emunah in full, Aleph, Mem, Vav, Nun, Hey. All right, Dollar to chase, 334. Moshe Rabbeinu say, whenever you fell there and you missed the sgula of 40 or the 40 days to remain in good terms with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on the 40th day, the Satan came, was Mekatreg, he did a Nisayan, and you fell. I'm going to show you now from that side. If we take Sav'era, equals 677. First thing that comes to mind here on it's Ruach Znus. Folly. You had the Ruach, he came up with this Ruach, you fell for it because you lack Emunah. In other words, the only way to fight the other side is with a very strong Emunah. You'll see, I'm going to prove it till the last dot. It's called Klippas Caleb. The Klippa of Amalek. Says Rashi on Vayovoy Amalek. Why did the Amalek come? Because you're questioning. Hashem says, I'm amongst you all the time. And you're asking, Hayesh Hashem b'kirbenu imayim? Is it possible? HaKadosh Baruch Hu did his Mikdash, he's Shoichen be'Yisrael. And you're asking, Hayesh Hashem b'kirbenu imayim? Let the caliph come and bite you. That's the reason Amalek came. That's the kitrug that enabled Amalek to come and fight the Bnei Yisrael. In other words, Arbaim equals 323 plus the kettle, we're going to say 324. Equals, Emunah, Aleph, Hey, where is it? Aleph Mem, Emunah. Aleph, Mem, Vav, Nun, Hey, written like this. When a person does something for 40 days, like the Noam Elimelech said in Settle Cotton, you can't change your midas. It says, Rabbi Salanta said, you can't change a midah. People die with the same midas, they were born with. Yeah, but in his Tava writes the Noam Elimelech that when you do for 40 days consecutively the same thing and you force yourself, automatically you acquire that midah. Bnei Yisrael, they fell because they didn't have a strong enough emunah in HaKadosh Baruch. I don't want to drag you a lot today. I want to touch one more point. The 40, before I give you a side here, is the 40 of the Meraglim that they went for 40 days, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Yom Lashana, Yom Lashana. For every day you have sinned, you will have to remain in the midbar a year. And they remained in the midbar for 40 years. We have these 40 coming here completely, again and again and again. What's the connection between the chet of one day and the oynesh of 1 year? It seemed disproportionate. It's not, doesn't seem fair. Yom Lashon. What does he come to teach us? And what does he come especially to teach the Meraglim on what they failed to do? In Olam Asiyah, just going to give you a little side here. In Olam Asiyah, whenever HaKadosh Baruch Hu does something, he does it through Yad. You cannot accomplish anything if you don't have hands. In this world, you need Yad. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu used the 3 lines, the 3 kavim. Yad HaGedolah, the big hand, which is, Gdolah is the midah of Chesed, Dula really it is. Yad Rama, the Rachamim. Yad HaChazaka is the 3rd one. It's always an image. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending a message here, huge message. There are only 3 lines that holds all the spheres. Chesed, Rachamim, Din. Yad HaGdolah, Yad Rama, Yad HaChazaka. That's the entire word. The common denominator, you're going to have to work a little bit on this one. The common denominator is Yad. If I write it in full, it will be Yud Dalet, which equals to 434 and 20, 454. With the cradle equals 455. You know already where I'm going. Kasa, Kamag, Kana. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hinted us how to bring down the name of the Bina. For those who are not familiar with this, very quickly, I don't want to waste time on this. Keye written with the Yud is 161. We call it Kasa to say 161. Aleph Hey with the Alfin is Kamag, 143. And the third one is with the Heihin is Kana, Gematria Mikvah, Gematria 151. Okay? That's the three names in the Bina. So in other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows us the path in order to bring down here. We can be in the darkness. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says you don't have to stay in the darkness. You can be in Tsaras. You don't have to stay in Tsaras. I created for you a path to bring down the names of the Bina. We all know what happens when the name of the Bina starts shining on earth. There's no more chitzonim, there's no more din. Now, every hand has 5 fingers. We know that etzba equals 163. "163 is the name also you all know. If I write the name of the Das in full, it's going to be Aleph, Hey, Vav, Hey, 163. You can see that it's only an image, the Yad. Basically, we have Das and Bina requested. Look at this. We say there's 5 fingers, right? So in the hand, you have the secret of the hand is 5 times 163 equals 815 equals Shas Geula. When you really have everything you do on every mitzvah you do, you have your Das, you have nothing to worry. You can never be caught, but Yekabetz Nitche Yisrael. So you also bring up, every time you have the Das, V'yadu ki ani Hashem Elohim. Every time in the Torah you need Yediyah, knowing. Knowing means the Das. Take your 815. Aleph, Hey, Vav, Hey. Plus, which is 17. Plus your 8, I'm going to write Im. Your 815, which is the 5 times, so you need Das, equals 832. Equals Eretz Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu, what he tells them, it's not Nevi'is, it's not magic. If you had remained on the 40 days, if you had succeeded the Meraglim, the 40 days instead of sinning not, you would have had the right Kavanah, you would have had the shame of the Das plus your 815 equals 832. Right away, it goes into Eretz Yisrael. You wouldn't have to fight for it. You wouldn't have wars. You would have never lost it. Now, you're getting Yom Lashana instead of this. You're getting punished Yom Lashana equals 441 equals MS. Moshe Rabbeinu tell them, and I'm finishing on this, Atem re'isem, you saw, Asher osisi leMitzrayim hamasois, in Parshas Devarim, hamasois hagedoilo is the big miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did to our eyes in front of us. And you came and said, Besin as Hashem oisanu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu hated us, he took us out of Mitzrayim. He says, this is the problem. When the person is in a time of Nisayan, it's not easy. He complains, it's valid, it's logical, but he should, that's the reason of the Nisayan. He reaches a level and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him to go above. You failed. You complain. It's not Tana de Velio who says that, it's the can remember who said that. It's not counted also. Who said that? I don't remember. That they needed the 40 years in order to be able to understand that sentence. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu does something to a person, he wants you to dig in and understand the message, because it's always a coded message that's being sent to you. Use your brain. Use your mind. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after 120, you're going to say, I don't only have these, and Hashem is going to tell you, my son, look behind the curtain. I'm telling you, basically in plain words, before right, turn left. You're going on the wrong path, turn around. Why did you try to be stubborn? You want it your way, but it's not your way. This world is not, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not in the world. The world is in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Remember, for those who learn on Shabbos, Doitzas Chaim, you remember all the spheres around? The little dot in the middle, that little thing, it's this Olam Asiyah. It's in the middle, so it doesn't contain nothing. The world is in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Around you have the Yesod. Around you have the Hoid, and then the Netzach, and then the Tiferes, and then the Gvura, and then Chesed, and then Bina, and then Chochma, and then Keser, and then the Ein Sof. Look how far this world is so lowly. And you think you know without knowing? No. You're missing one point, emunah. Why? Because when you have emunah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loved the Bnei Yisrael. And this is the side I'm going to give you. I'm going to jump all the shiurim, and I'm going to jump the shiur, and I'm going to tell you exactly the side in this. I don't know why it doesn't work. I need to write. When a person, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ani le doidi vedoidi li. Doidi is a magical word. We learned it in the Oitzres Chaim, so those who come to the shiur know it. Basically, 40, okay, I'll show you that. It's in the Yud Ke Vav Ke, right? Come down. 10, 10, 10, 10, 40. But this is, when you write the first Hey, Dalet Vav, remember the Dalet Vav, Dalet Yud? The first one is Dalet Vav. The second one is Dalet Yud. Now you have Yud Vav is 16. So I'm going to remove this, and you're going to have to understand this. It's really a Hey. Look at it as a Hey. What's the count of this? Whenever you go to the mikveh, you go in this. You go in the Yud Ke Vav Ke written like this. To be metaher, nobody can go inside the nefesh ruach neshama and to be metaher from the chet. Only the Yud Ke Vav Ke. The side in this is the Yud Ke Vav Ke written when a person has emunah. At that point, he becomes a doidi to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Yud Ke Vav Ke is written with the Yud. The first Hey is Dalet Vav. The second Hey is Dalet Yud. And together is 40. Umevi goyer livne v'neihem. What do you say in Shmoneh Esrei? Umevi goyer. Mevi if it doesn't matter which Galus you are, Modai, Bavel, Yavan, Edom, you can have the Goyel, no matter where it is. The four Galuyas, we are in Edom right now. We can create with the Emunah, Yud K Vav K, with the Doidi inside, Umevi Goyel Livnei Veneihem. From any, we could have had it in any of the Galuyas, because like Bnei Yisrael, we're raising ourselves in Har Sinai, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls us Doidi, when we have Emunah, when we are in the Matzav of Nisayan. But we have the Arbaim, which is Emunah. Then the Doidi can work. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu, amen v'amen. Moti, any question and answer? Otherwise, quickly.
Gorgeous shoe.
Papa?
Yeah.
Rebbe.
I'm glad to be of inspiration.
I'm sorry, who is inspiration?
I'm Mavin Yovin.
I don't know who's talking. What?
Well, thank you. Very nice year.
Thank you. No, but who said he's an inspiration? Or did I stop the